Okay, so we are going to talk about Marriage Bootcamp episode 7, Mocked and Rocked. I know it's like a weird name, whatever. But yeah, this episode was like extremely sad, was it not? Like everybody was crying. Even Ink had a little bit of tears in his eyes. So yeah, it was a very sad and it was a hard day, like actually doing the boot camp. All right, so it starts off with Mama June outside working out with Sean, which I didn't know that they were working out together. That's really funny, like the little scene and like her little push up. Like, what are you doing? I think her ass was like way up in the air. She didn't even do a girl push up. Like, I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know what that was. Sean was like, "Yeah, good job." No, she's not even doing a correct girl push up, which I'm not that good at push ups. I can do girl ones, and I can tell you that that is not right. All right, so you see us at the breakfast table, and I'm asking Cedric, so what ended up happening about yesterday and stuff like that, and he says, well, he's not mad, and he owes Sunday an apology for his conduct, and I feel like they never really got to the bottom of it. I mean, I don't know, but keep in mind they probably talked when they went to their room and stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure it's however long ago, and Cedric just wants to forget about it, like whether it happened or did not happen. It's like time to move forward because they need to move forward from where they are now and not go back that far. I do know if it was me or Ink, we would want to get down to the bottom of the truth and know what exactly happened. And if a lie detector came around, that's going to be the first question. So, did you sleep with Benzino? Like, no questions asked. So I think it was very mature of Cedric to kind of just be like, let's move past this and not keep talking about it and dwell on the same damn thing, whether it happened or didn't. All right, so Elizabeth says this drill is important for mainly for Sugar Bear and Ink because they're it's causing them mistrust in their current relationship, and they split the group up once again, and of course that makes it easier to talk because it's hard to talk in front of somebody that you're in a relationship with or care about or something like that. It seems odd to be able to talk in front of strangers, which at this point these people aren't strangers anymore. We've been living with them for almost a week, actually a little bit longer. So, but it's still different. It's not somebody that you've known or whatever for years or that close to. All right, so Sugar Bear talks about losing his cousin from his uncle and dad fighting. That was really, really sad. Like, keep in mind, these conversations that we had, you only see maybe 30 seconds to a minute at most per person. And I would say that we talked a good 5 minutes at least a piece. So Sugar Bear went into like his whole thing, and his cousin was his best friend. And when they got into this fight, where I guess a gun and knife was pulled out, and they weren't allowed to see each other anymore. So he lost his best friend, which was like his only friend, childhood friend. So he felt completely alone, which of course now he feels alone with Mama June. So it's even more extremely painful for him because he felt like his whole life that he's been alone. So sad. All right, so then Ink's turn, and on his side, and of course I don't see this, he's saying that he had a girlfriend in middle school. He caught her kissing a boy in the hallway, and he was extremely upset about it. I think he said he got in trouble, so he was getting sent to the office, and she worked like the little teacher aide or whatever it is at the front office. So that's why she was out of class too. So he was going to the front office to see the principal, I guess, because he had been in trouble, and of course he then sees her. And I definitely feel like he doesn't trust anybody. Like he really doesn't. And later on in this episode, he says, he says, Sarah, you're a really trustworthy person, and blah blah blah. But and then just because of I guess past things, and there's like a little bit more to it than that because he told me another thing that caused mistrust was what one? Okay, I don't want to say this other one because I think this one's on the following episode, but I guess he used to sleep with married women, and the women would like be laying in his bed after they had did whatever, and they would call their husband and be like, "Oh, I'm working late. I'm going to be home later." And of course, they just cheated on their husband and they're laying in bed with him. So there's a lot of reasons why he is not trusting, and then he's got friends that have been like that too. So, but at the same time, he does have a best friend who supposedly is really trustworthy. So he does know that people can be trusted. It's just hard for him to trust people. All right, so Ink then says, I want to drop. Okay, this is the interview part. So this is what I just talked about. He says, I want to drop all fear because Sarah is very trustworthy. And of course, I'm looking at him like, that's the first time you said it? Okay, thanks. Like, I know I'm a trustworthy person, but like, for him to finally say it, I mean, yeah, I was happy that he said it. But I don't, like, when he said it, I don't know. He said that he really meant when he said it. I don't necessarily felt that he really, really meant it. I mean, I guess he did because he wouldn't say if he didn't mean it. I don't know. Who knows? I was like, yeah, whatever. I already know. All right, so Cedric says that his father, he don't think his father is his father. And his story was really sad, too, because he always felt like his father wasn't his father. And then I guess him and one other sibling was going through, I don't remember if it was brother or sister, they were going through pictures of old photo albums and stuff. And they randomly came across a guy who was his mom's ex-boyfriend. And Cedric looks just like the mom's ex-boyfriend. And more than likely that is Cedric's father. He still doesn't know. Nobody has told him. And if I can remember correctly, they can either not find the guy or the guy had passed away. So there's no way of telling. I don't know. There was a similar story that came up about this with one of the therapists in the house. I don't want to say who. So I can't remember if I'm like intertwining the stories, but I believe that's why he was never able to find out. All right, so Catherine's saying that she thinks she's fat. Her family used to call her pig, and of course her mom's like a sign language interpreter, and she was like making the face like at the table, and they used to always do that to her when she would eat, pick on her for eating and stuff like that. And not until did she say that did I notice that a lot of times in the house, Catherine would make the smallest plate of food and would never finish her food, like ever, which of course makes sense why, because she's saying that she's fat. And this also went back to when we did the dance competition. She came into my room and she was seeing what I was wearing, but not just see what I was wearing, because I thought she was seeing what I was wearing because maybe to make sure I wasn't wearing anything like inappropriate to dance with her husband Sean. But she made the comment she was wearing a black dress, and she's like itty bitty skinny. Like, I'm pretty thin, but you know, this girl is like super thin. Like, she has a nice body. And she said that she's like, yeah, does this dress make me look fat? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Fat? I thought it was a joke. I thought it was an excuse to come in my room to see what I was wearing, but clearly it was an insecurity that she's had because she does feel like she's fat. And this kind of goes along with sex day, is because she said that she never, like, Sean hasn't seen her naked, even though it's her husband. Like, when they have sex, they turn off the lights and then they have sex. And she brings it up on this episode, which they actually show it. She says that her husband has never seen her change. She can't wear a swimsuit. He likes doing outdoors type stuff. And even in the house, she was at the pool, and I think she wore a one-piece bikini. Yeah, a one piece, and had like a robe on. And I remember she got really, really upset. They didn't show this, but after she was saying, you know, I know I'm not fat, but you could tell that she didn't really believe it. And I'm like, Catherine, if you think you're fat, then you really think I'm big because I'm twice your size. She's like, but you're not big. And I said, but if I'm twice your size, how are you big and I'm not? She's like, I don't know. And I said, exactly, so that makes no damn sense. And after she had gone through this and stuff, I don't remember if it was Jim on ours. Yeah, it was Jim on our side, unless it was David. I think it was Jim. He was like, okay, well, we know you're not fat. How about lift up your shirt? And she got so upset. She was like, that's so inappropriate. No, no, no. And she made it seem like it was because her husband Sean wasn't there and that it was like completely inappropriate in that way, which of course he didn't mean any harm by it in that sense. He was just saying like overcome your fear and like show your stomach because you've never been able to show your stomach. That was it. It was nothing like anything crazy. All right, so Mama June was saying that she got left in the car for hours while her mom was at the bar. My dad used to take us in the bars. He would like have us sit there, like sitting at the bar, like 2 a.m. All these people are drunk. Like, I remember these women trying to hit on my dad and saying how pretty me and my sisters were. And we had always had like really long hair, so they'd want to like play with our hair and stuff. We always wanted to go home. Like, nobody wants to sit. We were really young. Like, why would we want to sit in a bar at 2, 3 in the morning? No. And it's all smoky in there because back in the day, like, you could smoke everywhere. All right, so then Sundays was extremely sad. She was talking about being molested by her babysitter, and I didn't get to see her side because she was on Ink's side, but Ink said that it was very graphic what she was saying, how, you know, the lady made her do all these things, and of course, I mean, she's not a man, so you can only imagine what a woman would make you do, and of course, she made her do all those things, and I was really surprised that Sunday opened up and said it because when Sunday came into the house, she was very like closed off. I felt like she was there just to put on for the cameras, cause some argument. That's why she was arguing with Ink and trying to be in the center of drama and stuff like that. And about halfway through the show, because keep in mind, Sunday and I did not click whatsoever at the beginning. Halfway through the show, did I notice that she was like really taking the challenges and drills seriously, and she started to open up and be who she really was. And Sunday is like one of the sweetest people ever. Like, she portrays an image of being a bitch, I guess, for TV, and that's how she came across the first few days. But being on this show and doing these drills and stuff, like, she really showed who she really was. And Sunday is like one of the nicest people. They'll probably show us bonding a little bit in the next couple episodes. At least I hope they do, because we came really, really close. And I still talk to her to this day. Like, you'll see her right on my Instagram. I write on hers. Like, I really like Sunday. All right, so Benzino says that his friend shot, and then he was, like, saying his intestines were falling out and stuff. Like, I can only imagine how that must feel. I would be freaking out. Okay, next thing you know, we're, like, it's like buckets and rocks sitting there, and Ink's picking up his rocks. He's like, anger, distrust, suspicion. I'm like, you need to grab like 5 of those suspicion rocks. He's very suspicious over nothing all the time. And I feel like he's up to something, so he thinks I'm up to something. I don't be up to nothing. I be chilling at home. I be with Kiko. Like, I just made some barbecue ribs. Like, it's a Friday night. Like, I ain't going nowhere. I got work to do, so I'm going to type up some stuff for my new app on the computer later. But yeah, I don't be doing nothing. Suspicious for what? I don't be doing anything. All right, so Mama June grabbed every single rock. She's like, suspicion, anger, unloved, guilt. She was picking up everything. Little did she know we were about to get these damn vests with all these little pockets in it, and the rocks were going to go in every pocket. Oh, you didn't see this, and I just thought of this. So it was so funny. In the house, Ink was grabbing random stuff like grapes and like, I think napkins, like pieces of cheese and stuff like that, and he was sticking it in the back of everybody's pockets, and it was like hilarious. Mama June had the most stuff in her pocket. Like, I acted like I was like gonna go grab something out, and I stuck something in it. I really wish they would have showed it. It was hilarious, and I don't even think he remembers this. I need to call him and remind him, because it was like the funniest thing ever. Like, having garbage all in your pockets. All right, so Ink asked, how do your rocks make you feel? And he was like, he turns to Mama June, and he was like, if you say the same thing one more time, you're going to make my head explode, blah, 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 about trust and stuff. There was a little bit more to it, and because Ink always complains about trust. That's all Ink ever damn talks about, is not trusting. But there was more to that conversation that we missed. And Mama June, keep in mind, too, that Sugar Bear admitted that he cheated with all those other people. As far as we know, Sugar Bear only cheated one time. We didn't know that he confessed to cheating like 8 times, and then one time with a guy and not liking it. We didn't know any of that. So now watching it back, it makes sense why Mama June keeps bringing it up over and over and over. All right, so Catherine gets mad. She's like, you're being so negative. It's always negative. Like, and she's mad that Sean didn't stick up for her. She storms off, and I felt like Sean did stick up for her, because he said, you guys, like, stop it, stop, let's stop. And, Sean's not a person that's, like, aggressive or wants to, like, have conflict with others. So if he would have told Ink, like, yo, don't talk to my wife like that, like, Ink would have came back, and it would have been like a yelling match, which of course Sean would want to avoid, and then it wouldn't have been pleasant either way around. So I do think that Sean did handle this situation the right way. If it was like vice versa, of course, like what happened on like episode 2, no, next thing you know, it's like F you and da-da-da, and that's exactly what would have happened. So I think Sean did it the right way for this situation, with it being with Ink getting mad. All right, so Cedric comforts Catherine, and then he goes and talks to Sean for her. Cedric did that a lot in the house. Like, he was always like trying to help people out and talk to people and stuff, just the same way Catherine was. Okay, so Sean stuck up for her because whatever about the fight. All right, so Ink is laughing with Sunday that Mama June wasn't scared of the lake. Okay, so when we did like the little lake thing, I actually went very first. Ink was second to last. You'll see the camera kind of go back and forth, and I'm across the lake with my hood on because I had already gone, and I'd had like the rocks taken out of my vest. So Mama June, Ink and Sunday were like the last 2 left, and they're sitting there laughing that Mama June walked across the bridge and wasn't scared about it, because you remember she had like the panic attack when little bed and mattress thing happened. So then Ink says, okay, so Ink is sitting there talking to Ilsa, who is Elizabeth's daughter, saying, she's pretending to be the girlfriend that broke his heart. She's like, oh, she broke his trust, and you like see his eyes water, like he's like holding his head back. I'm like, At first, I was thinking he's holding his head back to like look at Jim because Jim's taller than him, but Ilsa's not taller than him, and she's like directly eye to eye. But he was still like looking at his head back. He was like looking at her like this. So he wouldn't like cry, but clearly you could see that he was all emotional and his eyes were watery. That was really sad to me. And I couldn't really hear the whole thing that was going on while I was actually there. Everybody was quiet during everybody else's, but I guess a lot of people don't really like Ink too much. So as I was trying to listen to his, Benzino and Althea start arguing, and then Mama June gets like starts talking about something, and I'm just like, can I please hear? Like everybody was quiet for everybody else. Like, be respectful to me. I didn't do anything to you guys, whether you don't like him or not. Like, be quiet so I can hear what's going on. All right, so then Jim kind of takes over. He starts to kind of yell at Ink. He's like calls him a pansy, saying he's not tough. And like I was like, oh my God, Ink is going to hit him. Like I was like this, I did not know what was about to happen. All right, so next thing you know, we're in the interview, and I'm asking him like, did you cry? Did you cry a little bit? Did you want to cry? Did you almost cry? He's like, see, what happened was dirt got in my eye. He knows damn well. He still says that that's not crying because like nothing fell from his face. But I consider that crying. Like, there's tears in your eye, and then, of course, it's the feeling. So, to me, I think that he cried. All right, so Catherine says she can't change up front. I've already told you this. So, as we're going across the bridge, and I'm, like, done talking to Jim, and this is something that I always do. I'm very playful. I laugh a lot. Laura, the life coach from Bad Girls Club, said, you know, you and your dad just laugh things off and blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I feel like, especially if you've already talked and discussed it and you're whatever, like, you can laugh about it after. You don't need to, like, hold it and make it a burden and be all angry about it. So as you see, like I did get emotional in that situation. I'd forgiven my dad a long time ago. Like I don't even care about it anymore. It does still hurt me. It hurts me when I say the story. Like it bothers me. And I had bad dreams up until about 2 years ago about that. Like, and it wasn't about me. It was about other people. So I would have dreams like, oh my God, I'd wake up Christmas morning and I'd forget to get my mom something, or I'd forget to get my sister something, or my boyfriend, or whatever else. And I'd feel really guilty and upset. And that I forgot to buy them, you know, and I would have Christmas presents for everybody, but then that one person, I'd be so hurt that I didn't get that one person a gift. So it's always affected me, and not until doing this show on Marriage Bootcamp have I been able to talk about it and not my eyes water. Like I can actually talk about it now, so that's good. But Laura always said, Laura the life coach would be like, you know, you can't just laugh things off, you and your dad laugh it off and blah, blah, blah. But, like, I don't feel like I need to, like, hold on to the same thing and sit there in misery and cry all day long. Like, yes, I cry a lot, but as you see, like, I was crying and I did, like, the little drill, whatever, and as soon as Jim was like, good job, I gave him a high five, and, like, I started laughing after, made a joke. I was like, oh, this vest is so much lighter without all these rocks. And it's because that's just the way I am. I'm a very happy person, and you would never know that I'm having, like, the worst day ever. Like, I literally, maybe 45 minutes ago, was really upset about something, and you know, I'm very strong in the sense of I can think positive and not be upset about the same bullshit. That's basically it. All right, so cross the bridge, high five. We're almost at the end. Sean says something that was really, really good that I liked. He says, we will live very miserable lives if we hold on to the shame and hurt that other people put upon us. And to be free of that junk, you have to basically forgive. And that is the key of doing so is forgiveness. And I really like that he said that. That was really, really touching. I don't know, whatever the word would be. All right, so Sunday went last. It was really sad. She could barely talk. She was crying. She was upset. She was sobbing. You heard her say that she wants her mom. And this thing went on to like 2 or 3 in the morning. We had been up all day long doing these drills and stuff. And thank God they said no evaluation tonight. You saw Judge Toller watching us and stuff. We really thought we had an evaluation. So that was like one of the longest days, like people crying, upset, and you know, you see like previews to next week, and Ink does break down, and he cries, like all down his face. And this is the crazy thing. I asked Ink, I said, do you remember who said to you? And I remember I was there for part of it. We were supposed to throw the paddle into the fire. He throws his into the damn lake. He was mad, and I don't even think he was talking to me at that point. He was talking to Jim. He was like, I don't want to say bad things about me. And I'm like, okay, like, calm down. He went into the house, and that's where you see David talking to him, and I don't remember what made him break down or who said what. I don't remember if it was me, if it was David. I have no idea, but he broke down. So I'm curious to see the next episode because I really don't remember what happened. And Yeah, that's pretty much it. People keep asking me if Natalie and I are still friends, and we spoke a little bit earlier today. We haven't seen each other much. She's been doing her own thing, I've been doing things and stuff, but she may be here later next week. So if that's the case, um, we'll do some little fun Snapchats and stuff like that. And if you're not following me on Snapchat yet, it's the same name as Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's at Sarah So Oliver. So make sure you follow me on Snapchat. And until then, I will see you guys next week.